it at all. We can't have it during lunch.
Studies show when cell phones are banned in classes, test scores go up and bullying and anxiety go down. But some parents argue they want to be able to reach their child during an emergency. Alex Stone, EBC News.
Japan took gold at the Olympics' first breaking event, winning a 3-round final battle against Lithuania. China takes the bronze. The U.S. Olympic women's basketball team, meanwhile, beat Australia today in Paris, clinching a 60-game 30-year winning streak. They're going to face France for the gold on Sunday. The men face France for the gold in their game tomorrow. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
Wisconsin's fall primary election is Tuesday, August 13th, with constitutional ballot questions, a U.S. Senate race, contested congressional primaries, and new legislative maps. This fall, Wisconsin decides.
Be a voter? Then tune to your local Civic Media radio station for coverage you won't find anywhere else.
I'm News Director Terry Bell. When the polls close at 8, our news team will bring you results from all over Wisconsin.
Election coverage live, Tuesday, August 13th at 8.
On your local Civic Media radio station and streaming on the app. Covering all the news that affects you with humor and a unique perspective. Matinaire on Air with Jane Matinaire. Weekdays 10 till noon on the Talk of Green Bay, 97.9 FM and 1590 AM WGBW, and on the Civic Media app.
I'm Lisa Hale with WGBW News. Your news in depth. Find it in the news section at WGBW.FM.
That first time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. He really a definition of like why he loves somebody.
Through all of fatherhood's first, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
News, I'm Ella Sapp. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Help is on the way for Rock County homeowners affected by storm damage. The Rock County Board approved $1 million in emergency relief on Thursday. The money comes from the American Relief Act, which was part of the COVID pandemic response. Northeast Wisconsin Democrats are urging a no vote on Tuesday's constitutional amendment ballot questions. Lisa Hale reports.
8th Congressional District candidate Dr. Kristen Lyerly said the amendments would take federal fund distribution away from the governor's office and put it in the hands of the legislature.
This Republican-led legislature is the least effective, the least responsive legislature in decades. And they want the reins in the case of an emergency?
Lyerly pointed to the legislature's delay in distributing PFAS cleanup funds as an example.
And that's what you need to know. I'm Ella Saff, and this is Civic Media News.
The Pack packed their bags for Cleveland. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The NFL preseason kicks off this weekend. The Packers play the Browns at an early time, 3:25 tomorrow afternoon at Brown Stadium. After Jordan Love plays a few snaps, backup Sean Clifford will take over at quarterback.
I think everybody gets nervous. I think they're probably lying if they ever say they do or not. And if they aren't nervous, then I always think that nerves means you care. So I always get a little nervous, but once you're out there, it's back to 11 on 11, and it's just an absolute blast.
NBA Christmas Day schedules have been released. The Lakers will face the Warriors, while the Celtics play the 76ers, but the Milwaukee Bucks are not on the Christmas Day schedule this year. Baseball, Brewers back home tonight against the Reds after beating the Braves 16-7. Now, no pitcher wants to come out of a game, but that's what happened to right-hander Freddie Montas after 4 innings.
He was chomping at the bit to stay, you know what I mean? And if he had a knife, he would have stabbed me when I took him out.
That's Brewers manager Pat Murphy with Sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Brief evening showers, otherwise partly cloudy tonight, cool, a low in the low 50s. A beautiful weekend ahead, lots of sunshine for Saturday, a high in the low 70s, and more sun and upper 70s Sunday. Sunday night, Monday, a few clouds and a slight chance of rain. It's 67 right now.
Crude and Dom.
Tune in Monday to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Dom will be back. Harrison Walls will be done with their cross.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood.
Whatever gets you through the night, it's all right, it's all right.
And now, A guy who does his own stunts, Pete Schwaba.
Hey, Wisconsin. Hello and good evening. How is everybody doing tonight? I'm in a great mood. It's Friday. It's summer. It's Wisconsin. We're doing Nite Lite. We're coming together, talking about the things we love. Great to have you with me wherever you're joining us from, all over the great state of Wisconsin. It's going to be my last show for about a week. You know, it's desperate when you're taking a week off and you say, technically you have 5 days off, 5 work days, but I'm including the 2 days on either end of the 5 days. So I'm saying I have 9 days off.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's true. Yeah. I mean, 4 of them I'd have off anyway, but this will be my last show. Well, and Conrad. You'll be here, though, running the board. We got some fun stuff planned for my week off, but so there will still be Nite Lite, and there will still be some highlights, and it'll be a lot of fun. So I hope you still tune in. And but this will be the last live show for a week, and then we'll be back live again on the 19th. Very excited. I got a great show. We're going out with style here. With we have Stuart Waddles will join me at 7:35. We're going to have an 80s talk. We're going to talk about our favorite 80s game shows, cartoons, country music, pop. I almost said regular music. That would have got me in trouble with the country music fans. 80s music, and we're gonna look for our forgotten 80s songs that we really like. And that's tonight's question. What is a great name, or I should just say, name a forgotten song from the 80s that you really like? Not one of the, we play some of them on the show. Come On Eileen, Our House from Madness. There's so many great songs from the 80s. And obviously there's Michael Jackson and there's Madonna. But what are some of the songs from the 80s that we might have forgotten about? And I hear these a lot because in Marinette, where I live, when I'm at the grocery store, somehow they found 80s B-sides and they play them. So I have an unfair advantage here. So we're going to play some of those, and Stuart and I will discuss those. But I want to hear yours. What is a forgotten song from the 80s? That is tonight's question. 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Conrad, as always, is riding shotgun tonight.
Yes, I am.
This is a special night of the week, as it's become known as what?
Bar Band Friday.
Bar Band Friday night here at Nite Lite, where we welcome Max Inc. Radio's Terry Barr. The award-winning Max Inc. Radio's Terry Barr will join us tonight with some great new music for Bar Band Friday night, like she does every week. Always fun to talk to Terry. And I want to say the last 2 weeks in a row, she's brought us 2 songs.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row we did that, right? So that was kind of fun, too.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm gonna talk to her. We have to see. We had Radio for Pets on last night, and I thought those guys, they were so fun. They were fun to talk to, and I really liked their music. And you know what I didn't realize, Conrad, when I left here? I realized how they sort of changed the composition of their songs to make it more radio friendly. Because when you listen to them on Spotify, their stuff is more punk and headbanging.
Oh, okay.
It was and it was great. I mean, it was really good. I was like probably doing 90 miles an hour because I like the music so much. That's not good either, but and then they kind of tempered it for the studio and for the show, which worked really well too in the studio. So those guys were a lot of fun. I'm gonna name drop tonight when Terry's here and see what she says about Radio for Pets. So hey, you know what would be fun? Maybe we could pull part of that and play it for Terry and show her some new music. What do you think about that, Conrad?
There we go.
I think we could line that up. Give her a couple of minutes. Pete and Conrad aren't music idiots. We know what we like. So Terry will be here as usual on Friday nights. She is here every Friday night at 8:35. Bar Band Friday. Stuart's here at 7:35. Our question of the night: name a great forgotten song from the 80s. This is fun. Conrad, do you know any 80s music? I feel like you're kind of left out here.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
I'm not the guy,
right?
I'm not the guy you'd go to for 80s questions.
I know you're not the go-to guy, but like, no, but like when I was growing up, like your 80s were my 60s kind of. So I did kind of find a lot of music from the 60s when I was, about your age. Oh, this is funny. I just saw the sheet is updated. Tom Lennon's birthday is today. Happy birthday to
54.
Friend of Nite Lite, Thomas Lennon, who was just here on Wednesday. Was he Wednesday or Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah, that was a fun interview. And some good stuff. So, okay, I got to start the show by saying I might have overdone it on allergy medicine. So I want you to keep an eye on me, Conrad. Did you bring your medical bag?
I did not.
Okay. We have a first aid kit here
somewhere.
We have to have one, right?
Yeah, we do.
That's a bad sign too. Well, somewhere, yeah, probably. We should know where it is, right? It's like knowing where to shut the water off in the event of a flood. So I took some extra. So if I start having heart palpitations, just be ready, okay?
I thought I'd be worried like you falling asleep. It's not the drowsy one?
No, I think allergy medicine can make you kind of hyper, right?
It's either or.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's two kinds. That one can make you drowsy, one can make you hyper.
And I said be ready. What do you think that means?
Just being like, if you fall asleep, hey, Pete.
Okay, that's good. I thought you were going to say to take over the show. I'm like, no, call 911. So there's that. And then here's a follow-up to yesterday. When we opened the show yesterday, I talked about this gas station I stop at sometimes when I come into town. Now, when I drive home at night, my windshield is covered with bugs. It's terrible. So usually I'll wipe it off at night, then I'll drive into Green Bay. I'll wipe the windshield off again. This is a daily thing, part of my commute. I was in a hurry the other day. I got here like after 6:30, but I pulled over in the gas station and there was no windshield fluid with the scrape wiper dealio. So I had to walk over. I was kind of annoyed. I'm like, you're doing a service here. I'm paying you money, filling my car up. So I go over and I wipe my windshield off. And I was kind of annoyed. And my little protest was I put it back in the one closest to me. So there were 2 windshield wipers in that thing where there was no fluid. So today, part 3 of the saga, I drive past the gas station. The 2 wipers, this is day 2, are still in that thing. Is anybody working at this gas station?
They do not care about the fluid.
They don't care. Thought that was hilarious. If I wasn't going on vacation, I would track this. I would make this a thing. I would write headquarters. But my guess is by the time I get back from vacation on the 19th, they'll have it sorted out.
Maybe. So, otherwise, you'll have to bring your own fluid.
Maybe. I have my own fluid just in case. But I don't know why that irritated me. And this, I thought, too, where we park here, when you can't find street parking, which is like 90% of the time, we park in the garage. And I'm pulling out last night, and it says 8 miles an hour, speed limit 8. I don't know why why 8? Like, how did they decide on 8?
Why not 10?
Why not 10 or why not 5? Why 8?
Why not 7?
Why not 7.5? How did they decide on 8? Was there market research done? This corner, if you take it at 9, it's too fast.
Maybe that's the national garage speed limit.
It could be. There could be legislation I'm unaware of. I don't know why that cracked me up. And then the other one, the Facebook check-in. Here's the other thing I don't get. I get a friend request. I always check, see if they're crazy first before I approve them. So I look in and I'm seeing all these check-ins. I'm like, why are these important? Like, you're not really a Facebook guy, are you?
Not really.
You the gram?
I don't really use, I don't know, I don't post anything on anything really. Just
okay.
Twitter is what I scroll on usually.
Yeah, Twitter's good for like fast news, but it's a cesspool.
It is.
But I don't understand the Facebook. Marjorie checked in at TGI Fridays in 2017. Why is that a thing? Who's somewhere, follow the money. Somewhere, somebody's benefiting from the fact that Facebook lists check-ins, I feel. But I don't know what that is yet. Thoughts?
I mean, they want you to know. They want you to know they checked. They want you to know where they checked in.
Track my movements everywhere? Seems weird. All right, I got a lot of stuff to get to tonight. So here's what I thought was kind of funny. And you found this and sent this to me last night. This is, all right, as you know, folks, Haley Welch, a.k.a. the Hawktua girl. And this is a press release. It says, exciting news. Haley Welch's official membership fan card is now available. How many people do you think are going to join the Haley Welch fan club? And who are they? Are they old pervy men? Are they girls that look up to her for her Hawktua-ness? I'm so fascinated as to who is joining the Haley Welch fan club.
Well, I'm thinking you are.
We have to. So I'm going to add this to your list while I'm gone. We have to
let's get a membership
fill
for the
out,
studio.
We have to get a membership. So Gmail, it's just the penthouse.lifemanagement@gmail. Let's contact them. Let's see if we can get her on the show and say we want to join.
See, we can get a custom message from her too, and we can play that on air.
I know. But did you know, here's the other thing I thought was funny about this thing. It says, join the exclusive club and enjoy early access to tickets and meet and greet. Tickets for what?
Just meeting her?
Yeah, I guess so. But then they also say they're so devoid of actual things to offer people here. And the next one is the premium member. You'll also receive VIP meet and greet experience. So there's the general meet and greet, and then there's the VIP meet and greet.
Does that include a Haktua?
I'm scared to ask. Me too moment, Conrad. I don't know if that's appropriate. But then it says exclusive merchandise discounts. And then in the next one, in the premium, you get signed merchandise. It's the same crap. Like, do people read this stuff? What are you getting for your money? And the first one is a quarterly newsletter with updates and behind-the-scenes content. Behind-the-scenes content of what? Special birthday message from Haley. I'm guessing it starts with Hawk.
We could have got Thomas
and
Lennon
ends with Tua.
us.
Yeah, right. That should be our birthday present to Tom. We should sign him up for Haley Welch.
I'm sure he'd love that.
It's like when I was in high school, we would sign our friends up for the draft. We'd fill out those cards. It's so horrible. And private fan club meetups. A chance for stalkers to get close enough to inflict harm. I don't get this. But we have to join.
We have
All
to.
Right, that is on our list to do. So we're going to do that. That's lots to get to. There's Naked Gun news. I got onion stuff I want to talk about. Stuart Waddles is here at 7:35 talking 80 stuff. This is a lot of show on a Friday night, folks. We are here to make your Friday better. Our question tonight, name a forgotten song from the 80s that you love. Let us know. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
Hey there, it's Carrie Joy with your Work Money Minute. I am as susceptible as the next person to discounts and sales. I love saving money. So I can get my wheels spinning pretty easy when I see that something I kinda want is 40 to 50% off. But here's a funny technique I'm going to share with you to save even more in situations like that. And I hereby authorize you, as the CEO of your brain, to consider this amazing offer whenever you're looking at something on sale. I just think to myself, do I want to save 40% or do I want to save 100%? If you're clicking around online and you see something you weren't planning to buy and it's on sale, like, hey, look, that ShamWow is 40% off. This trick can come in handy. I find that asking myself, would I rather save 100% and not buy this, sometimes can be helpful for my bottom line. For more everyday money tips, check out
See, how are you feeling right now, Conrad? Because I'm about to go on vacation. You just recently had a nice long vacation. Are you like, oh, I'm still like enjoying the effects of my Italy vacation? Or are you like, oh, Pete is a lucky SOB?
No, I'm perfectly fine.
Okay, good.
After going on a long trip like that, it is nice to be home sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I told you where I'm going, right?
No?
Iraq.
I doubt that.
There's a Holiday Inn Express. We got a great deal. They have a Holidome. We're gonna swim. We're gonna swim. The kids are gonna do the lazy river at the Iraq Holiday Inn. It'll be fun.
Do you think they got fluid in their gas stations over there?
You know what? It won't matter to me because we are gonna Uber it around Iraq, baby. They have a great people mover there. I'm excited. I'm actually Googling. I'm trying to find songs that I can talk about with Stuart because it's so fun to take these trips down memory lane. And I encourage you as well, Conrad, to just join the conversation. I want you to feel left out because, I'm sure you have who if you had to guess or if you had to, venture or contribute, who would you say is your favorite 80s person or band?
It's kind of tough. I have to think about it.
All right. That's fair. That's fair. I know I kind of put you on the spot there. So I'm just take your time and we'll do that. But there's so many that I've forgotten about here. And all right, I'm going to get lost. I can't just sit here on Google while I'm trying to do a radio show, right? I want to get to some of these texts too, because we have all right, just to repeat, the question tonight is name a great forgotten song from the 80s. And we had some texts, and Tom from New Berlin had one I had on there, and this is one of my favorite songs. It's so great. Echo and the Bunnymen, Lips Like Sugar. Great tune. Can you pull that? Conrad, let's use that tonight. We'll try to get that for In and Out of Breaks. That's a great song. He says later 80s. I want to say that was like 86, Tom? I don't know. I'd have to Google. Tom continues with another text. Imagine a golf course when there is no water in the ball washer.
That happens more than you know.
Does happen. And I have played, when I was a stand-up comic in Chicago in the 90s, I started in like late 1989. We would golf the public courses in Chicago. The courses Kramer on Seinfeld hated. His famous line, I can't go back to the public courses. I can't. I won't. Where they still had the mats. You tee off a mat. And then once you got on the course, it was fine. But they were cheap. They were right in the city. And oftentimes, those ball washers would not have any fluid in them. But, the course wasn't that great. I had crappy clubs anyway, so it's not like the ball had to be washed pristinely.
It's mostly those public courses that, like the national public ones. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Like the park ones, the park golf courses. Like there's a couple in Milwaukee and around there. Those are the worst kept golf courses I've ever played on.
Yes, they're pretty bad. And that's what these are. These are Park District, Forest Preserve golf courses. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Anna from the 608 says, hi, Pete and Conrad. A forgotten song of the 80s, 1988, that I love is End of the Line by the Traveling Wilburys. Have a good vacation. Thank you, Anna. That's a great one, too. The End of the Line. Who did we have? We had Pat McDonald on the show. What was the name of his band again? I want to find that out. Timbuk 3. That's right. Traveling Wilburys was George Harrison and Jeff Lynne, I want to say, from ELO. That was a fun band, too. That's a great one. Thank you, Anna. Troy from Madison says, Talking Heads, Road to Nowhere, 1985. Nice, Troy. I remember that song. I can't even remember how it goes. And She Was is another one by the Talking Heads. It's so great. That's not really totally forgotten, but there's so many good ones out there. So here's another thing I found. I thought this was interesting. I'm Facebook friends with a guy named Pat Proft, who wrote some of the greatest comedies of, the last 30 years, going back, I should say 50 or 40 or 50 years, going back to Airplane, Naked Gun. He was part of that Zucker Brothers, two great Wisconsinites, the Zucker Brothers from somewhere, I think the Milwaukee suburbs. Pat was part of their team, and he was actively involved in the writing of Hot Shots. We played some clips from Hot Shots last week with Lloyd Bridges for his birthday. Naked Gun. He posted this on Facebook, and that's where I saw this article. Naked Gun, the Leslie Nielsen movie that was so funny, is getting a reboot. And Pat said he's very disappointed with what he read because it's basically a beat-for-beat remake. Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy is doing it. And the release says, next summer, the Naked Gun franchise is set to return to theaters, with Seth MacFarlane producing and Liam Neeson playing Frank Drebin Jr. I cannot imagine that's going to be good. As great as Liam Neeson is, he's a trained actor. He's been funny. I cannot see him in the Frank Drebin role. He's going to play the son of Leslie Nielsen's character. I don't know how it's beat for beat, but he's going to play the son. Anyway, he says, but one person who has read the script cautions comedy fans not to get their hopes up, pardon me, calling the reboot appallingly unoriginal and a beat for beat remake of the film. If you are going to do this, why would you make it a beat for beat? Like you can add gags to this. First of all, you don't need to remake it. The studio should just re-release it and get people's attention on it. Because they're going to spend $100 million to make this thing. It's probably going to be like the Fletch remake. People are going to go, I really don't understand that. And I have a lot of respect for Pat Proft. He's just one of the great comedy writers of the last 50 years. So when Pat talks, people listen. But I really don't understand that. I don't know why you would do that. I love Seth MacFarlane. I love Family Guy. But that just doesn't make any sense. Pamela Anderson will play the Priscilla Presley role. She's going to be a little brighter than Priscilla Presley's role or character was. That's interesting. And they're also saying the humor in the film is very safe and constrained. Lame, boring, snooze. Being careful not to say anything even remotely offensive to anyone. Instead, it triples down on toilet humor. There's eventually a car chase motivated by Frank Drebin's diarrhea. Oh, boy. So it doesn't sound totally beat for beat. The first one actually sounds a heck of a lot funnier. I don't know. What do you think? And Elon Musk is the bad guy, apparently. Is that something you'd go see, Conrad?
I don't know. Do I want to see a movie that has diarrhea comedy in it?
Well, Dumb and Dumber. If it's done well.
I guess.
But once it's been done, it's been done. Unless can you come up with a fresh take on diarrhea?
If it's like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I just lost my train of thought.
I know.
Mid-sentence.
It's okay. It's going to be okay. All right, so Stuart Waddles is here. We're talking all things 80s next. Our favorite game shows, sitcoms, songs, forgotten songs. That's tonight's question. What's a great forgotten song from the 80s? Please share it with us, and we will read your answer on the radio. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
This is the talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris and her running mate, Tim Walz, will take the stage soon for a rally in Glendale, Arizona, as the ticket's battleground state campaign blitz continues. Former President Trump is in Bozeman, Montana, where he will hold a rally later tonight. The campaign says he flew there on a private jet after his personal plane was diverted to Billings, Montana, for a non-emergency mechanical issue. An airliner spiraled out of the sky and crashed into the ground in Brazil today. ABC's Maggie Rulli at the foreign desk.
Now, that plane was a two-engine ATR-72 jet operated by the local airline Voepass. It was supposed to be a relatively short 2-hour flight in Brazil when all of a sudden, about 15 minutes before it was supposed to land, it suddenly dropped 17,000 feet out of the sky.
All 61 people on board are believed to be dead. This is ABC News.
This is your hometown radio, refreshed, keeping you informed, entertained, and connected locally across the Civic Media Network.
Civic Media News, I'm Ella Saff. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. The numbers are in from last month's Speed Enforcement Day. State troopers pulled over 1,600 drivers on July 26th. About a third of them got speeding tickets. Another third got warnings. Officers say they saw drivers going 20 miles an hour over the posted limit in work zones. The effort aimed to save lives and to teach drivers about the dangers of speeding. A road construction crew made a surprising discovery in south-central Wisconsin. Here's Savannah Tomei Olson.
They were preparing for construction on the Lone Rock Bridge, which straddles the Sauk, Richland, and Iowa county lines. In the water, authorities found a 1980s Pontiac Grand Prix. They don't even make Pontiacs anymore. Law enforcement ended up learning this car had been stolen in 1990. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson.
And that's what you need to know. I'm Ella Saff, and this is Civic Media News.
For WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. If the constitutional amendments on the August 13th ballot pass, State Assembly candidate for District 90, Ahmad Rivera Wagner, said it will fundamentally change how the state is run.
The governor has always had the ability to both apply and then make decisive action. Status quo is that we don't need to change our constitution to make it harder to govern for anyone. And that's including the governing that happens to all people, not just Democrats and Republicans. Keeping our Constitution as is allows us to actually do the work of democracy.
Rivera Wagner joined fellow Democrats in a town hall meeting last night to urge voters to reject the two amendments. For the first time since the pandemic, a large music festival is being held in Oshkosh. Crossroads 41 opened up last night. Tonight's lineup includes Tanya Tucker, Chris Jansen, John Party, and Brooks and Dunn. Journey headlines tomorrow. And that's what you need to know. I'm Lisa Hale, WGBW News.
You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Brief evening showers, otherwise partly cloudy tonight, cool, a low in the low 50s. A beautiful weekend ahead, lots of sunshine for Saturday, a high in the low 70s, and more sun and upper 70s Sunday. Sunday night, Monday, a few clouds and a slight chance of rain. Currently, it's 66.
Why choose the water park capital of the world for a grown-up getaway? It's all there. Entertainment is there. Nightlife is there. Shopping, spas, and wineries are there. Been there, done that? More like been there, still haven't done that, or that. Golf? Hey, nice swing you got there. Dining? You'll be seated right over there. Ziplining? Hang in there! See what I did there? Wisconsin Dells. See you there. Go to wisdells.com and start planning your grown-up getaway today.
The Todd Alba Show.
Trygve Olson, Senior Advisor with the Lincoln Project.
You know, one of the things I think that you've done with this show, and I'm proud to be a part of it, is we've really tried to get out and listen to people.
And that's why I'm so thankful to work for a company like Civic Media that allows us to do that. Because the more we get out and listen to our friends and neighbors, we discover they're not our enemy. We're all Americans, and it really is a melting pot.
The Todd Alba Show. Weekdays noon till 2 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the app. Earl Ingram.
Tune into the next show.
Jim from Appleton says, Adam Ant's music. Jim says he's the only person who didn't get a bump from Live Aid. That was a pretty astute observation, Jim. Thank you. And then Tom from New Berlin again says, Ecstasy song, Dear God. I don't know that song. That's a really forgotten one from my perspective because I don't even know that song. I remember Ecstasy or XTC. I say Ecstasy. Keep those answers coming. This is a question tonight sponsored by our very good friend Stuart Waddles, who is joining us just here in a minute. Name a great forgotten song from the 80s. Stuart and I are going to talk about some fun 80s stuff, and our question is name a great forgotten song from the 80s. You can stream text us or just text us on the text line at 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC. Again, I will say the app it's so easy, folks. If you have not downloaded the app, it's a great way to get Nite Lite and all your favorite Civic Media shows, and it's a great way to communicate with them, too. You just click on the little text icon, and off you go. It is incredibly easy. Okay, so it is a bar band Friday night. Terry Barr will be here at 8:35. Right now, I'm pretty excited. I cannot think of a better way to send myself off. See how I did that, Conrad? That's called, in radio, we call it a segue.
There we go.
Okay. Then have one of my old pals help me sort of do a last show here before vacation. And he's here to do that now. He covers Southeast Wisconsin for Civic Media, Racine, Kenosha, some Milwaukee. He's a very busy guy, and he's taking time out to hang out with us here on a Friday night version of Nite Lite. Stuart J. Waddles. Hey, buddy.
Oh, hey, Pete. How you doing, bud? I'm a good guest. Now, I listen to the whole show. Before we start, I'm listening to what's going on.
So you know the
and I just
score.
wanted to comment on a couple of things. We've
Please.
got this radio. What?
Where we go? All right, you cut out there for a second, buddy. What was that? We're having Conrad. We're having issues. Is this my allergy medicine, or is something really happening here? Am I having palpitations?
What's that, bud?
Oh, there's Stuart. Now we got you. We kind of did we lose Stuart?
Yeah, that might work a little better. I killed that camera. Might have been causing a problem.
I can hear you now. All right, it's good to have you back.
You got me now? You got your ears on?
Missed you. Got your ears on. 10-4, good buddy.
Okay, now it's good to be here. Like I was saying, I listen to I listen to the show before I come on, like a good guest. And I've had this idea, and I don't know where else to go with this idea, but I think this is the perfect place. We've got this channel in Waukesha, right? WAUK.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do we need a walk to a girl? Walk to a? Maybe.
You probably have a line around the block for that.
That went over. That was great. No, did you like that one, Ed? What's that?
Do you think her coattails are that long? You think there's room for people to hitch their wagon to her star? Stuart?
She's doing events. There's like people that pay her to come to a bar and like be there. Yeah.
Well, did you hear the part where we were reading?
Yeah, there's
about...
people that pay her to like come to a bar.
And I don't get that. It's like to me, it's like, hey, let's have a pretty girl here. Let's get that girl that does that thing. I don't get it. But we did. I will say, can you hear me, Stuart? Oh, I think we're having problems with Stuart Conrad.
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, there you are. All right. So I don't know if you heard this earlier in the show. We found this Haley Welch. She posted this on one of her, I think it was her Facebook. It's an official membership fan card. Did you hear us talking about that?
Yeah, I did.
Hey, let's see.
The walk to a girl or hawk to a.
There he is. Okay. Should we try to get Stuart on phone, Conrad? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that might.
Okay. Hey, Stuart, can we contact you via what I like to call telephone? We're having some kind of strange delay. Okay, Stuart Waddles is here. I want to say he's in the building, but he's not. He's at his home, but he's with us, and we will make contact with him again momentarily. Tom from New Berlin is the guy tonight with the lyrics. He's in the 414. He says very in regard to XTC. He says very controversial if you look at the lyrics. So I'll have to. So the song is "Dear God" XTC. I don't remember the song. I have to be honest, Tom, but I will look up the lyrics while we're trying to get Stuart back on. And we'll be. I'm going to share some of mine too. I found this is kind of fun when you research all this stuff and when you look back. It helps you take a trip like down memory lane. I have it here, Tom. Dear God, a lonely road crossed another cold state line. I don't even know if I can read it on the air, though, so I'm going to look it over during the break, but that's a great suggestion. Conrad, tell people how they can watch Nite Lite. Tell people how they can watch the radio while we're waiting for Stuart.
Of course, yeah. So we're on Facebook under WGBW or Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba. On YouTube, we're under WGBW or Civic Media, and on Twitter or X Civic Media.
Yeah, there you go. So you can watch in the stream. That's fun, too. We can wave at you. Or you can listen on the radio. We're on statewide, and that is fun. So here we go. All right, so I'm going to say, Stuart's here. I want to ask Stuart about this. Did you see this comment, Conrad? You shared it with me. I'm assuming you saw it. Did you read it, though? The comment from the...
I read it.
Okay.
That's why I said it was just...
What do you even make of that? But these are her fans. These are the type of people... Here's the comment. I'm going to read it. And this is in response to Haley Welch's Facebook post where she's trying to get people to get an official membership fan card to the Hawktua Girl or Haley Welch's social media platforms or her fan club. So there's all kinds of stuff you get that I still don't understand. But somebody put a comment under her Facebook page. or under the post. And it says, she's a beautiful young girl and got golden opportunity. I'm going to read it just how it was typed, too. She's a beautiful girl. She's a beautiful young girl and got golden opportunity for a few minutes of fame. If she's smart, she'll get a good management team, and hopefully she'll be in movies or TV shows like Yellowstone soon. I don't know if she sings or not, but she should definitely talk to Taylor Swift about fame and how fast it can come and go and what it will do to her. I wish her all the best. She seems like a totally cool chick. So I don't know. That's who's following Haley Welsh. Did Stuart hear me read that, Conrad? Do we have Stuart back? Okay.
Yeah, I got you, bud.
All right. Did you
I can hear you now.
Did you hear what we were talking about with the Haktua girl?
Yeah, it's fascinating.
So did you hear the comment what the guy wrote?
No, what was the comment?
All right. He says, and this is what he wrote. She's a beautiful young girl and got golden opportunity for a few minutes of fame. If she's smart, she'll get a good management team, and hopefully she'll be in movies or TV shows like Yellowstone soon.
Well, it's like almost halfway there. If you cut that in half, yeah, because she immediately got a good management. She's getting paid right now, but I don't see this getting parlayed into anything.
Into Yellowstone, right? I don't know if this guy knows, I don't really like Yellowstone, but if Yellowstone called and said, hey, you want to be on the show? I'd be like, yes.
Yeah, but they're not going to get her. I mean, I guess maybe 20 years in the future, it might be a gimmick thing to put her on something. But again, for now, she's got a manager. She's going to bars. She's getting paid. She's doing appearances, and she's making some bank.
Well, speaking of the 80s, she's like the Max Headroom of modern day. So here's what the comment says. It continues. I don't know if she sings or not, but she should definitely talk to Taylor Swift about fame and how fast it can come and go and what it will do to her. I wish her all the best. She seems like a totally cool chick. So she does seem like a cool chick. I don't know if Taylor Swift is taking that call. She seems kind of busy, but
well, I'm sure you feel the same. I just feel like I know way too much about this girl. I've seen videos, and I don't know where they pop up. But there's one where she's down home in Tennessee taking care of Mama, and she's going and buying groceries for the animal shelter, and she's doing all these good deeds. So again, she's got somebody guiding her, and hopefully that pays off for her. Good for her.
Isn't it amazing though that people fall for that stuff? She seems like a great girl. She's buying food for people. It's that's all staged. I'm not saying she's not a good person. I'm saying what you're seeing is it's a portrayal. Right?
Yeah. I just think that she happened to be in the right place at the right time with the right upload that just happened to take off.
Yeah.
And there was somebody, and I think that we're seeing in the marketplace that there are these agents that wait for these viral moments to contact these people to say, hey, I've got a network set up where I can get you authorized for this. I can get you this. I can get you into that. I can get you paid to go to a bar. And I think that that's an interesting part. And I've always been to the thought that, I watch all sorts of stupid crap, Pete. People can do all sorts of stupid crap. Whatever they want to do, they can do it. I watch wrestling. I have no legs to stand on here. So if people want to go see the Haktua girl, sure.
And again, my issue, whatever. She seems like a real person. That's great. It's the people that go, we can make money off her, that I find really nauseating.
Yeah, but what about the people that are giving up their money? They're willingly giving up their money for it. Nobody's forcing them to do anything.
Yeah. Okay, fair point. I don't have an issue with them either, but I think they're okay. Honestly, if I'm being completely transparent, I think there are better ways these people can spend their money or time.
Yes. I'll totally agree with that.
Read Charles Dickens. Watch Seinfeld. Go to a state fair and talk to people. It's just when you're looking for people on these platforms to follow, and that becomes part of your routine. That's just strange. There's no going back.
It's always been a part of. I don't know if it probably predates America, but it's a part of American culture to have stars and people that are on the magazines that people look up to, and it's taken a turn now that everybody can get out there.
Right.
And to be honest with you, if you're in the right place, you're in the right time, and maybe not for you, but somebody who's out there that's unknown, go get that money. Get paid while you can. Go,
absolutely.
Capitalize on it.
Yeah, it's not and the one thing she did that catapulted her to fame wasn't staged. It was she was just doing her. And it's okay, that great. That's where it That's where it goes. Who do you follow?
I think that's where you get back to just to finish that up. I think that's where you get the connection. That's where you get people to part with their dollars when they do see somebody that's real and honest, that they can connect with, because there's so many characters out there that aren't like that.
Very well said. That's a great point. Okay, so before Stuart, I don't know if you heard this. I was talking about Facebook check-ins. I still don't know I don't know what the point of the check-in is.
Advertising dollars.
It's got to be, right? But who are they getting those dollars from? The places that are being checked into, or just
I think that
clicks?
Once you get people to start checking in, then you can go to, say, the businesses, say, hey, there's somebody checking into your neighbor over there, the guy that sells the same thing that you do. If you give me some money, I'll put an ad on that place because they checked in there, and I'll target them because they went to your competitor.
Okay,
so
there you go.
There's a lot of geofencing, and I'm sure you get Chris Morrow on the line. He can tell you more about that.
But for the check-inner, the person checking in really doesn't gain anything out of that, other than more algorithms. It's going to send them, hey, it's TGI Fridays half apps again.
Yeah, you're just giving them more details. I mean, they know where you are anyway, just based on your cell location, but you're just giving them a little bit more detail about everything.
Exactly. Should we jump into some 80s talk? We got to do a quick thing. Let me ask you one thing before we do this. Who do you follow on social media? Do you have people that you follow regularly that you like to hear from that are either celebrities or other news people? Who's Stuart J. Waddles following?
Everything, just everything. That's what's great about it. Like you guys were talking about earlier, for scrolling, it's Twitter, it's X, I follow as many people as I can, as many viewpoints, because ultimately I'm the one who's going to, peruse this information and make the choices of what I think about things, and whether that be entertainment, politics, wrestling. So it takes all kinds, Pete, takes all kinds.
Do you have someone you follow that you're not particularly proud of?
Not really. I mean, you're probably talking about half of the people that I follow, Pete. I mean, they're like you said, there's a lot of unsavory characters out there, but there's also a lot of good information that's being shared as well. So you kind of take the good, take the bad. And again, there's a lot of awful people out there, but I like that they have a voice so that we know that they're awful. That's why I'm not a big on censorship, because the more that we hear from people, the we know the bigger idiots they show themselves to be. So when Cat Turd posts something, we can all say, wow, what an idiot Cat Turd is.
But I am still going to follow Cat Turd because he's saying the things I would never say.
Yeah.
All right, Stuart J. Waddles is here. We finally got this figured out, and we're going to jam into some 80s stuff coming up next. This is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
To the talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for the Devil's Advocates radio show.
Feeling congested? At Navage, we know life is better when you can breathe freely. Congestion shouldn't ruin your summer. That's why people just like you turn to Navage, a revolutionary and easy way to help clear nasal passages. Using gentle suction, Navage removes allergens, dust, and mucus in just 30 seconds. It's fast, gentle, and incredibly effective. Try Navage and get on your way to a better day. Get Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, Sam's Club, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, or online at Navage.com. Navage. Breathe better, fast.
It's summertime in Wisconsin, and whatever the weather, it will impact you and your plans.
Should I water the garden? Will our event be rained out? Count on your local Civic Media radio station for in-depth details and the most up-to-date forecast.
Temperatures are rising into the mid and upper 70s under sunny skies.
It's your weather and more for your part of Wisconsin.
Like Sugar, Echo and the Bunnymen. Great name for a band, too. Echo and the Bunnymen. I don't know what it means, but I love it. Stuart J. Waddles is here. He is the He's the news director for Southeast Wisconsin here at Civic Media. He covers Kenosha, Racine, and some of Milwaukee, and he follows everybody on social media, so you don't have to. Stuart, do you remember?
I'm the Waukesha guy.
He's the Waukesha guy.
Waukesha, you get it. Waukesha, walk.
Totally. And someone's got to do it. So let's talk about this. I love that you wanted to talk 80s, and I always love talking 80s.
It's usually whatever I have in front of me right at that moment. I just kind of toss out because I think I happen to be watching some of the sort of old 80s game show.
Where do you find those? Like Game Show Network?
Yeah, Game Show Network. I think there was I got Plex. I don't know if you know what Plex is. It's one of these apps where you can kind of stream your own stuff, but they've got Plex channels and they've got a bunch of stuff you can go through, old game shows and things like that.
I have to say, all right, so let's start with game shows. You sent a list. Your 80s game shows are more, you just have more than I do. I have Family Feud, which I liked because I felt like, the answers weren't that tough when you were younger.
It was good for the family.
It was good for the family. And Price is Right. That was about it for me with game shows.
Well, those I didn't even toss in because I thought those were givens. I thought, yeah, of course, Price is Right, and watched those all the time. But I had some deep cuts because I guess I watched a lot of game shows in the 80s. And the first one, The Sale of the Century, I think I just remember because of the intro. It just had a good opening theme.
Oh, let's find that. Conrad, let's see if we can find it. I just saw that you put the link there. You got Bumper Stumpers? I don't remember that one.
I was looking it up. I'm not sure if that was the American name. There was a game show where they put up license plates, and you had to guess what the license plates were trying to spell out.
Oh, my gosh. Boy, you did a deep dive here. This is impressive. Because these are like B-side game shows.
It was the USA Network, like in the 80s, had a bunch of these game shows.
Nice.
Card Sharks might have been a part of that lineup, but I remember the license plate game show, and then the Press Your Luck, of course. You remember Press Your Luck? You remember the guy who ran the tables? Like he was some sort of savant who figured out the exact pattern of no whammies for this guy.
I kind of remember him. I kind of remember the show, but I don't remember much about it.
Yeah, they might have made a documentary or a movie about it, but he timed out like exactly how to run up the score on that thing, and they had to change how the whole thing worked.
I'm probably going back. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, then the Love Connection was another one that, as a 9-year-old, I guess I found fascinating. I don't know why. I sit there and watch it with my mom. Oh yeah, she's gonna pick 2. Oh no, it's gonna be 3 for sure.
But the dating game, that was so simple. It was like those 3 guys, and it was just great. There was nothing, that was like the first reality show, kind of.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the Chuck Woolery, he had a gimmick that was memorable with 2 and 2, and so that was a memorable one for me.
Yeah. Did you watch Joker's Wild? I'm probably going back to the 70s there.
Oh yeah, that was Wink, wasn't it? Wink was on that
Martindale.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Joker's Wild. I mean, it was similar to Card Sharks. If I'm getting them right, Card Sharks was a little bit different, and it wasn't Wink, but it was the other guy that was on all of them. Don't remember his name.
Right. My guest is Stuart J. Waddles. You're welcome to join us, folks. Text in if you have something you remember about game shows or cartoons. We'll do some country music, some forgotten 80s songs, TV shows, whatever you think. You picked, let's go to 80s song, because you and I had a very similar one. Conrad, did you pull Billy Vera and the Beaters?
Yeah.
Let's hear a little bit of that. From Family Ties, this is Alex P. Keaton professing his love for his girlfriend, right?
What did you think I would do at this moment?
And then he starts dancing with her, right? Yeah.
When you're standing before me.
All right, you can lower it a little, Conrad.
We had a TV in my kitchen. It was a little itty bitty thing that hung underneath the table or the counter. And I remember being at dinner once, and it was already in syndication, but like that episode was on in the background, and I just had to get up and go and watch just because that song came on. And I was again probably 8 or 9 years old. But yeah, that was a memorable one. That was a forgotten one.
That was a very memorable. In fact, I liked that show when it was on. I watched it like first run, and I started watching it again recently. Family Ties we're talking about, and I just watched the pilot, and pilots are always weird. So I am going to stick with it a little bit because I loved that moment. I think I was in high school, and it was just a great, I liked that character too, Alex P. Keaton. He was a good character.
Yeah, well, and again, that song, it was a moment. It was a cultural touchstone, if you will, where I think it grabbed people. And I don't know if it was forgotten or not, but I mean, that's I don't hear enough people talking about Billy Vera and the Beaters for to be honest with you, Pete.
I think that's a good one. And then you had two other ones you added that you sent me. There'll Be Sad Songs, Billy Ocean, great one. That's a great forgotten song.
Yeah.
And Force MD's Tender Love.
Oh yeah, and I'm looking at these songs now, and I guess I'm big on slow jams.
Yeah,
but yeah, Tender Love is a fun one. I think people forgot about. My favorite part is the Force MD's album cover. Go toss that in your Google.
I know. I did notice that. I was like, oh, Stewart's going for the slow dances, and he's a romantic at heart. I didn't see that coming, but I have some of those too. I have Slave to Love by Brian Ferry from the movie 9.5 Weeks. Great song. Harden My Heart by Quarter Flash. Remember that song?
Yeah.
Okay. Not a crazy obscure one. I had Lips Like Sugar, like Tom from New Berlin. That was on my list.
One.
Yeah, and then this is kind of a one that you probably don't. Glenn Frey, I wasn't a huge fan of his solo stuff, but I remember slow dancing with this girl at a dance, and I had this biggest crush on her. And the song was
Smuggler's Blues.
Yes. Yeah, she was a drug runner, but she had a heart of gold.
She was pushing some weight. Yes,
exactly. No, she was. The song was. I think it's The One You Love. It's called. Are you going to stay with the one who loves you, or are you going back to the one you love? It was really, the lyrics were good, and it was just a moment from my teens that stayed with me because I knew she had a cartel coming in to pick her up in a few minutes, and I savored the moment. But that was
so you got Terry Barr coming up, right?
We do.
You tell Terry Barr I was in a bar band.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was in my early radio career working at a country station, and the guy who ran the joint was really good with the guitar, and he knew some other ringers. So we kind of got those gigs as a radio station and opened up for Trace Atkins and Chris Cagle.
Oh, wow.
So I rocked the Brat Stop before.
Oh, very cool. All right, so when we come back, let's do this. Let's pick up with some country, some forgotten country, because I actually like a couple 80s tunes, too, and you can tell us a little bit more about your...
Keep me on for another segment.
Your caterwauling.
Nice.
I will. Can you stay through the news? The award-winning Civic Media news team of which you're a part?
Sure.
All right, fantastic. Stuart Wiles is going to hang out on a Friday night here at Nite Lite. We're coming back. Stay tuned for award-winning news here at Civic Media. I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Nite
Lite. The talk of Green Bay, WGBW. John Mino and Jim Schmidt.
On Monday, we'll check in with one of our favorites, Brittany Merlot. She'll take a look at the forecast for the week ahead. Plus, Mario Gonzalez from Wello stops by. See you then.
Mino and the Mayor. Weekday mornings 6 till 9. Wisconsin's fall primary election is Tuesday, August 13th, with constitutional ballot questions, a U.S. Senate race, contested congressional primaries, and new legislative maps. This fall, Wisconsin decides.
Be a voter? Then tune to your local Civic Media radio station for coverage you won't find anywhere else.
I'm News Director Terry Bell. When the polls close at 8, our news team will bring you results from all over Wisconsin.
Election coverage live, Tuesday, August 13th at 8.
On your local Civic Media radio station and streaming on the app. Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app. You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW 1590 AM Denmark, W250CV Green Bay, and always streaming on the Civic Media app.
ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. Vice President Harris and her running mate Tim Walz are on stage now at a rally in Glendale, Arizona. The state is a must-win for Democrats. Donald Trump's in Montana for a rally in Bozeman. The former president flew there on a small private jet after his personal plane was diverted to Billings for what the campaign calls a non-emergency mechanical issue. Could weather have been a factor in the deadly crash of a Brazilian airliner near Sao Paulo? ABC's Maggie Rulli at the Foreign Desk.
What caused them to get into this trouble in the first place is still what's unknown. Now, it has been noted that other local pilots flying around this same time said they had trouble with icing in the area.
All 61 people who were on board the plane, which spiraled as it plunged to the ground, are feared dead. What's left of Tropical Depression Debbie is drenching parts of the Northeast and New England. Stocks closed slightly higher to end the week. This is ABC News. The FDA has approved the first nasal spray for emergency allergy treatment.
This is the first needle-free treatment for potentially fatal emergency allergic reactions. The nasal spray is called Neffy, N-E-F-F-Y, which could be an alternative to EpiPen and other injections. The single-dose spray is given in one nostril, approved for adults and children 66 pounds and over. The FDA says Neffy's approval is based on 4 studies in 175 healthy adults.
ABC's Chuck Sievertson. The FDA is suggesting that you talk to your doctor before you get Neffy prescribed. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has ordered a 10-day block on access to the social media platform X. Maduro accused opponents of using X against him after last week's disputed presidential election. Protests broke out across Venezuela after the Maduro-controlled election authority declared him the winner of last week's vote. Daria Albinger, ABC News.
This is John Mino.
And I'm Jim Schmidt, and together we're Mino and the Mayor on the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, 97.9 FM and 1590 AM, weekday mornings.
As our audience grows, we're looking to find an experienced outside marketing professional to join our Civic Media team to work with local business owners who want to grow.
Not only does WGBW reach qualified radio listeners, we help business owners reach customers on their mobile phones, tablets, even on screens at the gas pump.
The person who joins our team needs to be as motivated as we are to bring great local radio to Green Bay and Northeast Wisconsin. Someone with a creative streak and no fear of introducing themselves and us to the Green Bay business community.
If you're listening to us now, imagine how many others are and how we can help business owners reach the customers they want to do business with.
To apply, email me directly. My name is Chris Morrow, Vice President of Sales. My email address is chris.moreau@civicmedia.us. chris.moreau@civicmedia.us.
I'm Lisa Hale with WGBW News, your news roundup in quick podcast form. You can find it anywhere at the WGBW website, wgbw.fm.
News, I'm Ella Staff. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Help is on the way for Rock County homeowners affected by storm damage. The Rock County Board approved $1 million in emergency relief on Thursday. The money comes from the American Relief Act, which was part of the COVID pandemic response. Northeast Wisconsin Democrats are urging a no vote on Tuesday's constitutional amendment ballot questions. Lisa Hale reports.
8th Congressional District candidate Dr. Kristen Lyerly said the amendments would take federal fund distribution away from the governor's office and put it in the hands of the legislature.
This Republican-led legislature is the least effective, the least responsive legislature in decades. And they want the reins in the case of an emergency?
Lyerly pointed to the legislature's delay in distributing PFAS cleanup funds as an example.
And that's what you need to know. I'm Ella Saff, and this is Civic Media News.
The Packers unveil a new defense. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NFL, Green Bay fans will get their first glimpse of the Packers' new 4-3 defense. When they face the Browns in Cleveland tomorrow, the Packers signed the Giants free agent safety, Xavier McKinney, to a 4-year deal worth $68 million.
If I play, I play. If I don't, I don't. Whatever the case may be, I'm just trying to, do my job and be able to get better. If I don't play, then obviously my job will be, just trying to make sure the young guys are prepared and ready.
College football, the Badgers wrapping up week 2 of camp in Platteville. Tyler Van Dyke seems to have the edge at winning the starting job at quarterback.
Yeah, just show consistency, with everything I do, whether that's leadership, leading the offense, and pushing the ball downfield a little bit.
Baseball, Brewers and the Reds tonight at AmFam Field. The Crew coming off that 3-game sweep of the Braves in Atlanta by winning yesterday 16-7.
Well, just playing good more than one day, like playing consistently pretty good like we did the last few days.
That's Brewers manager Pat Murphy. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Brief evening showers, otherwise partly cloudy tonight, cool, a low in the low 50s. A beautiful weekend ahead, lots of sunshine for Saturday, a high in the low 70s, and more sun and upper 70s Sunday. Sunday night, Monday, a few clouds and a slight chance of rain. Currently at 64 degrees.
Jane Matnair and Greg Bach.
Coming up on the show, we talk to retired Rear Admiral Joe Seastack about Project 2025's impact on the U.S. military and the state of education.
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who travels so he can pretend he's on the lam, Pete Schwaba.
Welcome back. So Troy from Madison says, Left of the Dial from The Replacements. That's a good one, Troy. I have to say, I don't remember that one, and I guess that's part of the game here. A lot of these are forgotten songs, but I appreciate all the contributions. Troy also adds, Howard Jones, No One to Blame, just so 80s. That is. You know, and Troy, that song kind of, I don't know why, reminds me of True from Spandau Ballet, which I always liked. It was just such a mellow song, and I don't know, maybe we were all soft in the 80s, Stuart. You contributed some of those.
The one that I'm kind of carrying on this thread is what the captain of her heart.
Oh man, yeah.
No idea who sings it. Just that what you said just kind of triggered that in my mind. But who forgot about that one? I did.
That was a kind of a cool tune, though. It had like a jazzy or bluesy kind of feel to it.
On a boat with the video for that, I think.
Yeah, totally. And I am not a boatsman, but I totally appreciate a video shot on a boat. You can be.
Oh yeah, if you're going to go yacht rock, you might as well go full bore, I guess.
That was the original yacht rock. Do you think yacht rock would do Smuggler's Blues? Stuart, that was a gorgeous line. I just want to say.
Thanks. Been waiting for that one.
I bet you were. I teed you up, and you were like, "Oh yes."
Well, there's a reason I read about Glenn Fry like 6 months ago to brush up on. Well, what was this guy up to? Because again, I saw the Eagles probably within the last year in Milwaukee, and then you go start running down that train. It's like, well, what did Glenn Fry do? I remember him from that, and why did they break up? So that's where it's fresh.
You know, he did like I loved that song, the one you love, but then he did like Smuggler's Blues, and he did The Heat Is On from I think that was one of the Axel Beverly Hills Cop movies. So he had kind of some cheesy songs just written for movies, but I don't know. He was certainly capable of writing a good song too.
Well, I think he wanted to be a movie star too. I think maybe that was part of his way in.
Right. Here's Jim from Appleton says, The Motels, Suddenly Last Summer. Great song. That is a great one, Jim. And The Motels had another hit too. Only the Lonely. They were a twofer band. They had two great songs. That's a great one.
Not Roy Orbison, right? It's a different one, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's. I'm not going to sing it, Stuart.
Come on, Pete. You're going on vacation. People will forget. You'll be gone for a week. Go ahead.
Okay, so how's it go? Goes. We walked like each other. Something. We smiled. Only the lonely. Only the lonely can play.
Yeah, that was a bunch of 80s. That was in a bunch of 80s movies.
Yeah. That was a great one. So, all right. Conrad, let's hear some of the song I just talked about. You know this one, Stuart? I think I mentioned it already, but let's just play like a minute of it.
The storm's breaking, so it seems, with the young to reason, to grown up.
All right, you can lower it. That's Brian Ferry from Roxy Music. I know I already mentioned. I did want to hear part of it though. He has great movie music.
Yeah, I can see some sort of montage at the end.
Did you see 9.5 Weeks?
People admitting their wrongs and running into each other's arms. Yes.
Right. Exactly. That was pretty much the movie.
Yeah,
and he did. And Brian Ferry had a song in Sofia Coppola's movie Lost in Translation with Bill Murray, and he just has great movie music. All right, let's move to country because I know you're a fan of country. You sent me some country tunes, and I have a couple. Not as many as you. You're probably much more
80s country. And 80s country now. My case go way beyond the 80s, but that's where I was raised. And my mom was from Texas. My daddy's from Tennessee. So.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So who's your favorite, and who is kind of forgotten in your mind?
Of the 80s, I mean, I don't think Alabama has been forgotten, but I'm not sure
Right.
Alabama has the recognition that they should have as far as like American like music and where they stand and everything. I mean, they got more than 40 number one hits, and it's quite a resume, that Alabama. Yeah, I mean, they put it on an album. They put it on an album in the mid 90s with their 40 number one hits. They're probably up over 50 by now. But yeah, they're a legendary act that I don't know if they get the recognition that they should.
Do you know the comedian Todd Barry?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Todd Barry.
He does a great joke about box sets. He's like, I don't get these box sets. If you're a fan of the band, you already own every album. No one is sitting there going, you know what? I don't own anything by the Oak Ridge Boys. I think I'd like to own everything by the Oak Ridge Boys.
Hey, you slow down. Watch your mouth. They've got quite a collection they put out that I think 2 discs were just gospel. So.
Oh, wow. You've got Conway Twitty on your list too, which I remember him.
In the 80s Conway Twitty with the shirt buttoned down halfway and the gold chains and the hair coming out.
He had some great songs. I remember he was in Casey K, and that's what I love about the top 40 then. I think they had separate countdowns, but the top 40 could have country in it. It could have R&B, rock, pop. You know, it was just you just heard more of these different genres then, I think.
Well, and Conway Twitty, I think it was in the 80s when he put out the cover of Slow Hand by the Pointer Sisters.
Oh, wow. Nice memory.
You need a lover with a low hand. That was a good one. He did Tight Fitting Jeans. That was another classic.
Do you know the band Restless Heart?
Oh, of course. Love Restless Heart.
The Bluest Eyes in Texas. I think it's late 80s. Love that song.
Yeah, that's a great one. They had a big string of hits in the late 80s. And one of those other bands that just kind of went away. It's a good filler for your topic there. Forgotten. I mean, you forgot that whole band, didn't you?
Yeah.
When She Cries was a good one.
What was it?
When She Cries at Night and something else. And then there's another one. Oh, Why Does It Have to Be? Why does it have to? That's a song you're going to hear in the grocery store the next time you go there. I promise you.
Oh my God!
Why does it have to be wrong or right? Why does it have to be one thing over another?
That's Restless Heart.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. They do another one. I think that the phrase or the song on the B side of that was a song called El Dorado, which I just flipped over. And I got into this because another comedian, who at the time was named Dan Whitney, loved Restless Heart. And every time in my car, he would play this, and I fell in love with the song. And he flipped it over, and there was a song called El Dorado, which is a true, B, almost a C-side for this conversation, but a great song.
Well, and those that are turned off from just some country, Restless Heart, I guess they would be classified as a country band, but they're not overtly country. They're not in-your-face country.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, you're right. They don't have that same sound. Here's another guy. I don't know if he's technically country. I think he might have been in the Eagles at one point. Randy Meisner.
Yeah.
He had a song. I had myself a tall one waiting at the bar. And what was the chorus? Heart. Oh, God. What was that song? I'll look it up. But anyway, that was more of a country tune. Maybe not a pure country tune, but every once in a while I will hear that. And I really do like it. It's a good trip down memory lane.
Now, that's the guy that did Take It to the Limit, right? And hit the note.
Yes. I think so. Yeah. So he was an Eagle.
Yeah.
All right. What about Toe in the Line? Do you remember that song?
Toe in the Line. I know one. I remember one Toke over the line.
It's Rocky Burnett, I think was his name. Hearts on Fire was the Randy Meisner song. And her heart's on fire. Remember that song?
Yeah. Some country airplay with that.
Yeah. So that's the extent of my country, but I'm just trying to hang with you here because I know you're more the voice.
Yeah, I mean, I go back. I'm down with Hank Williams and Farron Young and stuff from the 50s and just all of it. I think I heard on your local Green Bay news that Tanya Tucker's playing in the Oshkosh area. Or
I heard
Fox
that
Valley
too.
tonight.
I couldn't believe it. Do you have TV from the 80s that is kind of forgotten or something maybe that you like that you don't often think of anymore?
We are kind of going back and forth about cartoons. My kids are little, so I'm trying to get them to watch some of the things that I watched, and so they're watching Smurfs. They do have an updated version of Muppet Babies. I've been trying to show them the old version, but they're just hooked on the newer one, which is all right. There's Beakers on there, so I'm fine with it, and then there's a baby Swedish Chef. So I'm all right with that. But I was going through it, and I remembered this cartoon called Heathcliff. Do you remember Heathcliff?
Oh, yeah. He was sort of like Garfield. Like Garfield
I know,
Light.
kind of like Garfield. And then I started looking, and again, as a kid, I don't know these things. I don't put it together. But Mel Blanc, his last original character was Heathcliff.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And one of the writers on Heathcliff was Chuck Lorre, the guy who did all those TV shows.
Chuck Lorre, yeah. Chuck Lorre, yeah, sure.
Yeah, so he was one of one of the writers on the Heathcliff show back in the 80s, that cartoon.
Here's one more band, not to backtrack, but I kind of wanted to mention, but I forgot. Ambrosia.
Yes.
They were all over the radio in the early 80s. And then you just never heard, I don't even hear them on the radio anymore, like on classics stations or anything.
Well, every once in a while, you can find one of those stations doing the old countdowns. Like they'll play the Casey Kasem countdowns from like a specific week.
Can you listen to those?
I think they play them on Sirius, and I'm not sure if there's any other radio stations, but like you'd want to listen to those because you've got it locked on Civic Media stations across the state of Wisconsin.
Well, I feel like that was a great time in America. It was fun when I was a kid to listen to Casey Kasem. I don't know if I'd want to listen to like a countdown. Like it might be taking you back too much, maybe.
Yeah. Again, there's a group of people online that are hardcore about this whole thing. That there's groups that just comment on this week's Casey Kasem's, and they're going to a bunch of nerds, if you ask me. But I think that if you're going to listen to Casey Kasem, you're going to play the outtake. And personally, Pete, I think you should be playing that once a month.
We'll see what we can do. Ambrosia, one of their biggest hits, The Biggest Part of Me. That song was in my head, and it was 1980, barely 80s, but man, that was on the radio all.
You remember what I'm talking? You know what I'm talking about with the Casey Kasem outtake, right?
Where he flipped out.
Yeah. There's a request, and I'm talking about a kid, and they tell me to talk about this dog. Yeah.
That was. You know what? It's funny. Somebody else talked about that at one point too, and I Googled it. And I think I sent it to Conrad, but I never gave context. But that's something we have to play. And Conrad,
once a month.
Yeah, right. You would have to be on your
good.
toes, Conrad, because he swears and it's beautiful. It's hilarious.
Yeah, do a pre-edit, and if you've never heard this, it's like it's going to shatter your whole world of Casey Kasem and Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Hey, we've kept you this long. Can you hang through a very quick break?
Let's
do
it.
TV.
Let's go for it. Marathon session.
All right, I got a great 80s show for you. I doubt you remember it, but I'm going to lay it on you anyway, and we can discuss that.
All right.
Then I'd love to know what you're watching now, too. So Stuart Waddles is here. It's a Friday night edition of Nite Lite, the show before vacation, ladies and gentlemen. Glad you're with me. I'm Pete Schwaba. This is Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Wherever your mind exercise, we've got lots of time. We can't quit till we get to the other side. Aha, aha, with the radio playing a song, we keep rolling along. Who knows how far a car can get before you think about slowing down, yeah.
The talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
Hey there, it's Carrie Joy with your Work Money Minute. Today, I want to give a quick overview of what goes into your credit score. Now, before I do that, heads up, there is no single scoring system or standard that all the credit bureaus use. I mean, why would they make it easy? But about 90% of the scores used by creditors are issued by FICO, F-I-C-O, the Fair Isaac Credit Organization. I have no idea who Isaac is. A FICO credit score ranges from 350 to 900. And 35% of that score, the biggest chunk, is whether or not you've made your payments on time. 30% is how much of your credit you use. 15% is how many years of credit you have, longer the better. And the remaining 20% is a mix of how many new accounts you've got, if you've got different types of credit, like cards, a car loan, mortgages. Seem a little confusing? A bit. But it's a system we can understand and try to use.
Feeling some 80s tonight, some 80s vacation music. Killing two birds with one stone. I will be off next week, all week, and Conrad will be here holding down the fort and playing some of our favorite moments from Nite Lite over the last, we've been on 8 months now, Conrad. You know that?
Yeah.
Does it seem like longer or not that long?
It's been a wild ride.
It's been a crazy ride. So on the stream, Bill checks in and says, Eddie Rabbit and Hee Haw was fun. Eddie Rabbit's a good one. You don't hear a lot of Eddie Rabbit anymore, Stuart. Stuart Waddles is with us. He covers news for Civic Media here. He's part of our award-winning news team covering Southeast Wisconsin, and he's talking 80s tonight. And
that guy checking in over text doesn't hang out with me enough because I listen to a lot of Eddie Rabbit.
Do you really? What's your favorite?
Yeah, I love A Rainy Night. The other one, I'm an American Boy. That's a good one.
What's the one where he's like stalking? The lines have been kind of deciphered over the years, and it's kind of a creepy song.
Oh, geez.
Pull that up.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
First Step, take her out and treat her like a lady.
Oh, yeah, First, yeah, Step by Step.
Step by Step, right. And
he did You and I, the duet.
Yeah, he did some great stuff. That song could be perceived step by step as a little creepy, though.
Yeah, but have you seen Eddie Rabbit? He was a handsome fella. How could you say no?
Well, he's not my type personally. I'm more of a Glenn Campbell guy. But she walks by, you don't know. I have to find these lyrics. We'll do a deep dive on those next time. But
yeah, Eddie Rabbit. Yeah, he wrote some songs too. I think I don't know if he wrote Kentucky Rain. But I think he was in on that one, and he wrote for Millsap too. He wrote a couple songs for Ronnie Millsap, who should be mentioned as well if we're talking about 80s country.
Ronnie Millsap, Smoky Mountain Rain, right?
Yeah,
that was a great song.
He could probably put out a 40 number one hits too. He had a bunch of them.
Okay, so let's do TV. What do you remember from? I assume you remember Family Ties, although that was kind of a hit show. Do you have forgotten TV shows or TV shows you really dug?
We kind of talked about it last time. Perfect Strangers was a good one that I remember.
Yeah.
It was Larry Appleton. It was in Chicago, so
Yes.
kind of local. I still kind of go back. I watch the Cosby Show every once in a while. I'm not sure if that's going to get me ostracized, but it's just a good family show that at the time, who knows what was going on, but at least it's hilarious when Rudy and the little neighbor kid get the juicer going and then run off. Hilarious.
Right.
Kenny and Bud. Call me Bud.
Wow, you watched it longer than I did. I didn't really watch. I watched like the first season or two, and then I found
it was appointment television. I mean, it was kindergarten, first, second grade. Everybody had like those little girls they had on there doing the slapping of the hands. They did like the meese and the man at a beep a top. Like the next day on the playground, everybody was doing it. It was like it just you kind of look back to think, well, what are people doing now?
Yeah,
that everybody did like back then, and you don't kind of see that. And I think that's kind of you see that in society where people are kind of disconnected and broken apart as a whole.
For sure. I have two I want to throw at you, and I'll see if you remember. I doubt you'll remember one. You'll probably remember the other. The first one is Three's a Crowd. It was a spinoff from Three's a Company, but it might have been a spinoff from the other spinoff, Jack's Bistro, or what was the John Ritter has?
No, well, it was just Jack's Bistro was what he ran in Three's a Crowd.
Oh, okay, okay.
So that was his restaurant where he had the funny chef with him, and then
the surfer,
the girlfriend, their fiance's dad was a comedic foil.
Right. He was the guy from Soap, Richard Burton, maybe, or
yeah. I don't know Richard Burton, but yeah, it was something like that. But it was they included all of those spin-off shows when they sold the syndication packages in later years. So as they got into syndication, they inserted the Ropers inside of where it was in the timeline, and then they also put in the show at the end of the syndication.
Okay. And it says, this little blurb I have here, it says, this show and Three's Company ended. Both shows were hurt by airing at the same time as the A-Team and the powerhouse personality that is Mr. T. So
yeah, that'll do it. Well, and don't forget about Murdoch.
What's Murdoch?
He was the crazy guy, wasn't he? Or was Murdoch the crazy man?
I don't remember Murdoch. Oh, from the A-Team. Yeah, of course. Yeah, right.
I ain't getting no playing, Murdoch. No crazy man.
All right, here's another one. I'm so curious to find this show. It is not available anywhere. It had great production value. I remember watching it in high school, and it was a Canadian mystery show called Night Heat. And it was set in a newspaper, I think, that covers the night beat the cops, and they follow the cops around in the cops' cases. It was so well done, and I cannot find it. And the actors were great, and the writing was great. I'm so curious to see if it holds up. Have you ever heard of that show?
Where did this air? What do you remember watching it on back then?
It was. I remember seeing it in my dorm, and a little bit in high school, just on late night. It was like, I want to say like 11 o'clock on like one of the, whatever the CW was back then.
Huh.
Or
no, don't remember that one.
Yeah. I've been kind of looking for this show. I mean, there's so much content, but all these platforms still need content. I feel like it's going to show up at some point, unless they've lost like every deliverable or whatever. But I feel like at some point it's going to pop up.
I somehow find myself into these groups online. Like I got into a 90210 subreddit. And
that sounds obscene.
Don't ask. But there's conversations within these subreddits about missing episodes. So there's people on there. I'm trying to go find season 5, episode 3, but it's not on the streaming service where all the rest of them are. So there's some that they're plucking out for whatever reason.
Well, they did that with The Office.
And 30 Rock too.
Right. It's just, it's a shame. I mean,
it is, because you're going to start plucking things out, then you're not going to be left with anything at all.
Well, and I don't want to be like, I'm not that guy that like when the Redskins changed their name, I remember hearing white people say, well, it's not offensive. Well, it's not to me or you, but if someone really has a beef with something, okay, let's take a look at it. But, I don't get that. I just don't understand. It's like they plucked it without people making a big stink about it. If no one's protesting, who cares, right?
Right, and ultimately, I think it comes down to whatever the market will allow. So if they weren't making money somehow, then it ain't going to fly. So then they're going to shut it down. So I think that's ultimately where it ends. And as a kid from around here, if we're talking 80s shows, Mr. Belvedere, of course.
Oh yeah, totally.
So with the uke, have you ever heard of have you ever Belvedered? You know that story?
No, what's that?
Oh, there's a story going around that on the set one day, Mr. Belvedere came in and sat down, and he sat down on
the twins.
Part of his, yeah, and he was hurting so bad it swelled up, and he had to leave the set, and he was in pain for 2 or 3 days, and they heretofore call it Belvedering.
Yes, I have heard of that. I'm sad. As you get older, that's an issue. But I don't want to go into too much detail.
I can imagine.
That was worth it. I wanted to hopefully get in under the wire. It's not going to happen, but your Al Molinaro story. So let's save that for next time, because Belvedere, that was perfect. And you've given me the smuggler's blues with your appearance on Nite Lite tonight. Thank you so much, buddy.
If I can make Pete Schwaba laugh, then I've succeeded.
That was beautiful. That's going to be our promo. Conrad, did we cut that?
Yeah, I just whipped it up right now.
Change my voice, though, to saying the funny part, and Stuart to me. Okay, perfect. Stuart, thank you so much, buddy. Have a great night. We'll do it again.
Hey, have a good vacation, bud. See you.
All right. That's Stuart J. Waddles. Check him out here on Civic Media, part of our news team covering Southeast Wisconsin, and just an all-around good guy. So, it is a Bar Band Friday night. You know what that means. Terry Barr is coming up next with new music, and we might just share some new music with her, too. This is Pete Schwaba and Nite Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
ABC News, I'm Daria Albinger. Vice President Harris and her running mate Tim Walz are on stage now at a rally in Glendale, Arizona. The state is a must-win for Democrats. Donald Trump's in Montana for a rally in Bozeman. The former president flew there on a small private jet after his personal plane was diverted to Billings for what the campaign calls a non-emergency mechanical issue. Could weather have been a factor in the deadly crash of a Brazilian airliner near Sao Paulo? ABC's Maggie Rulli at the Foreign Desk.
What caused them to get into this trouble in the first place is still what's unknown. Now, it has been noted that other local pilots flying around this same time said they had trouble with icing in the area.
All 61 people who were on board the plane, which spiraled as it plunged to the ground, are feared dead. What's left of Tropical Depression Debbie is drenching parts of the Northeast and New England. Stocks closed slightly higher to end the week. This is ABC News.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
Civic Media News, I'm Ella Saff. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. The numbers are in from last month's Speed Enforcement Day. State troopers pulled over 1,600 drivers on July 26th. About a third of them got speeding tickets. Another third got warnings. Officers say they saw drivers going 20 miles an hour over the posted limit in work zones. The effort aimed to save lives and to teach drivers about the dangers of speeding. A road construction crew made a surprising discovery in south central Wisconsin. Here's Savannah Tomei Olson.
They were preparing for construction on the Lone Rock Bridge, which straddles the Sauk, Richland, and Iowa county lines. In the water, authorities found a 1980s Pontiac Grand Prix. They don't even make Pontiacs anymore. Law enforcement ended up learning this car had been stolen in 1990. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson.
And that's what you need to know. I'm Ella Saff, and this is Civic Media News.
For WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. There are 2 constitutional amendments on the August 13th ballot. Basically, they boil down to giving the power to approve, designate, and distribute federal funds to the legislature and not the governor of the state. Assembly District 89 candidate Ryan Spouty.
You've seen our state legislature, especially the Joint Finance Committee, they voted to approve, I believe it's $125 million for PFAS relief. And then they sit on it. Do we really want those same people to control whether or not our state gets federal funding if there's an emergency?
Spouty made his comments in a town hall meeting with other Democratic candidates in northeast Wisconsin last night. Frontier Airlines will discontinue the service from Green Bay's Austin Straubel International Airport to Denver. The last day of flights between the cities is Monday, August 12th. And that's what you need to know. I'm Lisa Hale, WGBW News.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Brief evening showers, otherwise partly cloudy tonight, cool, a low in the low 50s. A beautiful weekend ahead, lots of sunshine for Saturday, a high in the low 70s, and more sun and upper 70s Sunday. Sunday night, Monday, a few clouds and a slight chance of rain. Currently at 64 degrees.
Let's get back to live music in the Lair with Kaylin Cole. The next song you have for us tonight is called 1103.
Yes.
Is that a time or a flight number?
Oh, that's actually a really good. That's a good idea. I think I might have to write another song with that. You'll get 50%.
It's live in the Lair. Grab the podcast now at maxincradio.com and listen live on Saturday nights, 6 to midnight across the Civic Media Radio Network.
Busted Pencils. Fully leaded education talk.
Randy Weingart, the dynamic and influential president of the American Federation of Teachers.
The Heritage Foundation want their way of life rather than the diverse, pluralistic democracy that has been America for 247 years. It's this fight between anger and aspiration.
Busted Pencils with Dr. Tim and Dr. Johnny. Weeknights at 6 on your local Civic Media radio station and on the Civic Media app. Todd Albaugh.
Hey, everybody, join us next time. We'll get you caught up on the weekend.
All right. Welcome back to Nite Lite. Great to have you with me on this Friday before I check out for a week. Trying to give you guys as much show as I can tonight so that you can keep it with you all week, even though we'll be here next week playing some of our favorite moments from Nite Lite until I get back on the 19th. Here's a text that came in. Conrad's mom checking in. You talk about Casey Kasem. Don't forget about American Bandstand. Loved listening and watching that show. That's a great pull, and that's an 80s show. That might have started in the 70s, but yeah, that's a great one, Paula. Thank you so much. Sort of a forgotten about one, and that was our theme tonight. So if you have a great song that people forgot about in the 80s, you're welcome to share it. You can still get it in Under the Wire here, and we'll read it on the radio. Right now, I'm very excited. This is my favorite segment of the week, and it's our last segment of the week. It's Bar Band Friday night with Max Inc. host Terry Barr, and she joins us now. Terry, how are you?
Hey, good. How are you? And happy almost on vacation.
Thank you. It's been so long. And here's the weird thing. I've been like pretty much self-employed my whole adult life. Like my adult life has been a vacation because I love what I do. And I've had like a couple bosses when I was like a staff writer on a job.
Yeah.
So I'm like freaking out because this is like the first like serious corporation I've worked for. And I'm like, did I do everything? Did I fill out this? Did I do that? It's very nerve-wracking. So, but it is, I've been here a year and 4 months now, and it's time to take a week, and it'll be fun.
Good for you.
Thank you,
it
Terry.
The whole family? Are you doing something fun or just chilling?
We're mixing it up. We got a wedding, and we're going to go somewhere, and then hopefully just chill out on the last weekend, but some time at home, too. It should be fun. So, yeah, it'll be a great week. And but I will miss you next week, but we'll figure something out. Maybe we'll play. Conrad can put like a best of bar band piece together for next Friday.
Sounds great.
Yeah. How are you?
I am good. Conrad and I, when we first spoke on the phone, I said, "How are you doing?" Oh, it's always good. It's always good. But I think all of us kind of felt like, good thing it's Friday.
Yeah, it's one of those weeks, I guess.
It has been, I think, maybe for all of us. So we're in a good spot. It's almost here.
Well, this has become such a fun segment. And it's just, and if it's okay with you, you are the music expert, but we had a band on last night called Radio for Pets. And we would love to play like a minute or two of them for you as well.
You're going to bring me some new music. I love it.
Maybe, and maybe you've already heard of them. I don't know, but I told them about you, and I thought they were just so. They ended up staying in the studio for an hour, and they performed like 4 songs, and they were just really fun. So, can we do that first, and then we'll get, because Terry's got some heavy artillery here. We have 2 songs again, which I love.
Yeah, we can sample them both.
Yeah, the band is Cat and the Hurricane, so we'll get to them. But do you mind hearing just a quick clip?
I would love it.
All right, Conrad, let's play a little. This is a song called Fake Tats. They were on the show last night, Radio for Pets.
I am a little difficult. You are a saint for staying. And I know things haven't quite been looking up, but I think it might be changing. 'Cause we are all we've got, and the weather's getting hot.
I think you're pretty bodacious, and I was just wondering if you wanted to accompany me down to the beach later. Maybe we could grab some brewskis or something. I just think you're a really cool person.
We might be broke, but who cares? We got blue sky and fresh air. Besides that, wine and weed are cheap. Swear like a sailor at sea. You're always yelling at me for my bad timing. 1, 2, 3, 4. The best part of my day is waking up to say good morning, babe. You got the blood rising from.
All right, so that was just a little sampler of Radio for Pets and the song Fake
That
Pets.
is so much fun.
Isn't that a fun song? And it's very sweet lyrics. You know what, Terry? They were in here last night, and they adapted that and made it more studio friendly. It was more acoustic, and that was great too. Because I listened on the way home off Spotify, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like they're very good musicians. Really fun band.
That was great, and I love where they kind of go into the little, speaking part.
Yeah.
What a great change up! Yeah.
All right, good. Well, I feel like we just kind of, you're so great about sharing music with us. Just wanted to introduce
now
you to
I'm
those
jealous.
guys.
Yeah, I want them on our show now.
I'll send you some
to
stuff.
chase them down.
Absolutely. So, all right, let's talk about Cat and the Hurricane. I love that title, too, and I love both of these songs you sent. What can you tell us about them?
Oh, good. I almost feel like Cat and the Hurricane and Radio for Pets could go on tour together.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting you say that. When I was listening, I was like, boy, this is a great night to show Terry a little bit of this other band, too, because they have a really cool energy.
Well, the cool thing I think about Cat and the Hurricane, it's Cat, Alex, and Benjamin.
Yeah.
Two of them met in Janesville back in 2015 and formed this duo. When they moved to Madison, that's when they added a drummer, but they're still only a three-piece.
Really?
And you probably notice when you listen to the music, it's big, it's really full. It sounds like there's more than just three people playing. Since they moved to the Madison area, they have been playing all over the country. They did a East Coast tour. And when I say East Coast, I mean they actually played places in Brooklyn and New York City. So that is astounding. They were named Best New Artist in Wisconsin and Madison in 2020. So they've just kind of built off of all of that. Yeah, it's terrific.
Boy, that's pretty cool. So they're on tomorrow night?
They are live in the Lair tomorrow night. They've got some new music coming out, and this will be the first time they're actually going to reveal some of the songs. The new album itself won't come out until October, but it's one of those, if you've watched musicians, it's so interesting to see how they market themselves, and many go to I'll release one song this week, and then in 2 weeks I'll release another song.
Yeah.
But they're going to release a couple tomorrow night and play those live in the Lair at 9 o'clock across the Civic Media radio network.
Fantastic. Well, let's hear Conrad, my good man. I'm going to leave this up to you as to which one. We've got Caffeine and Alcohol. They're both great songs. And Sorry That I'm Like This. I love that title. That's great. Well, let's do Sorry first. Let's do Sorry That I'm Like This. Too. Okay, this is Cat and the Hurricane. Sorry That I'm Like This. Compliments of Terry Barr.
Speak
great song.
And doesn't it sound like more than three people? They all sing.
Yeah.
They all play various instruments. So when they're recording, they can do so much to put a song together. But when they're on stage, they're contagious as far as bouncing up and down and jumping around. And they're just a great live band.
The lead singer has a really unique voice, and it's like, I don't know. It's just one of those. She is great. Kat, is that Kat?
Yes, it is Kat.
Love the voice.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's really. I have to ask you something. So, and I thought about this the other day, Terry. You've been on the show now for many months, and you bring all this great music, and it's all great. Are there better bands now than there were 30 years ago, or do we just have access to them? Are they have an easier way of getting their stuff out there?
I think that it's the latter, because if you think 30 years ago, there wasn't, the internet and Spotify and all of the ways that we can look up music now.
Yeah.
And you had to go stand in line for tickets for a show. You couldn't buy that on the internet either. But I'm wondering if what is happening now, we want original music. I mean, at least I feel like that's what we're all after. We want new music. We want new bands. We want to hear this. And now we have all of this right in front of us where, I say to you, hey, check out Cat and the Hurricane. Boom, you can turn around and find them in a second to listen to a bunch of their songs.
Yeah, it's so weird because it reminds me, like, when I first moved to LA and I started taking acting classes, I'm like, everybody in here is great. And I feel the same way about these bands. I can't believe there are this many bands that I haven't heard of that are this good. It's almost, I feel bad for them in a way because they need to get their stuff out there, and that's a hard thing to do. So we have part of another song from Cat and the Hurricane that Terry brought called Caffeine and Alcohol, and we will play that next on Nite Lite with Pete Schwaba here on the Civic Media Radio Network.
We have found a way to talk around the problem. Building towers, foresight isn't anything at all. Why the sky and tell the sky, and leave the sky and tell the sky.
Listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home of Mino and the Mayor.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, my son's teacher emailed his back-to-school list. He needs crayons and a comp book for every subject. Okay, no problem. With Staples Hot Deals, you'll find super low prices on hundreds of items for back to school. Oh, now they're saying he needs folders and glue. You got it. And markers? Of course. Oh, geez. Can we get a cart, please?
Save big on back to school with Staples Hot Deals. Right now, 24-pack Crayola crayons and comp books are only 50 cents each at Staples. Ends 8/24, in-store only, limit 10.
Wisconsin's fall primary election is Tuesday, August 13th, with constitutional ballot questions, a U.S. Senate race, contested congressional primaries, and new legislative maps. This fall, Wisconsin decides.
Be a voter? Then tune to your local Civic Media radio station for coverage you won't find anywhere else.
I'm News Director Terry Bell. When the polls close at 8, our news team will bring you results from all over Wisconsin.
Election coverage.
It's actually a great. I think it's Lindsey Buckingham. You remember that song, Terry? You remember the movie Vacation?
Yes. In fact, I thought that's a perfect song for you. And yes, it is Lindsey Buckingham.
It is, except I'm going on a young Christian singles cruise. My family doesn't know that, but I'm going to go and reflect and read some scripture and hopefully meet some other people. Hello, Terry? Are you there?
Yes.
Hello. Is this Mike on, Conrad? Okay. So, all right. So Terry Barr is here. It's a bar band Friday night. You don't know what to make of me sometimes, do you, Terry?
I wasn't quite sure, and I thought, well, you just never know. Maybe you're, what do you do? Immerse yourself when maybe you're trying to get a role that you want to play, so you immerse yourself into something.
Wow, very, and you don't want to insult me, because what if I'm serious, right? I get
Well, true, and I don't want to insult any listeners that might be like, that sounds great for Pete.
I don't even know if they have those. They're just words that strung together, and it sounded like something I should say. All right, so before we run out of time here, let's play a little bit of, this is the other song Terry is sharing with us tonight. It's called, by the band Cat in the Hurricane. They're just great, and here's the other song Terry shared called Caffeine and Alcohol.
Tell me when my dreams became nightmares, gonna take on the world. Right now I'm taking on myself, incessantly haunted by the things that I once loved. Secondhand smoke and rum on my clothes, I can still smell him. Is this the caffeine and alcohol in my blood? Or is it some kind of divine punishment? 'Cause I said I'd be okay this time. I tried, I lied, I still get high off of coming with lions, but I still lay down with wolves. I've never been this guarded, but I still hate to sleep alone. Maybe I could breathe better if you just take off my shirt. Secondhand smoke and rum on my clothes, I can still smell him. Is this the caffeine and alcohol in my blood? Or is it some kind of divine punishment? 'Cause I said I'd be okay this time. I tried, I lied, I still get high off of coming undone. Secondhand smoke and rum on my clothes, I can still smell him. Fear of the past, I thought it last. Hurts in the morning, I thought that I could have it all. Love caffeine, God alcohol.
That was Caffeine and Alcohol by Cat in the Hurricanes. So great. Terry, you're going to have a blast with these guys tomorrow.
That's their newest song, too. That just came
nice.
out this spring. And in the meantime, now they're working on this new album. I think this is going to be they've only been together officially as a threesome since 2019. This is going to be their 6th album.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, they're cranking out great music. Coming up, they have shows in Madison, Appleton, De Pere, and Rhinelander, even before they put out the new album. And, follow them if you want, Cat and thehurricane.com. They are so good on socials, too.
And that's a hardworking band. If they're touring little towns in Wisconsin like Rhinelander, and that's fantastic.
Isn't that great? And then you can imagine they'll start it all over again when the new album, I think it's out in October.
We should set something up because it would be fun to follow through and see we kind of did it with Marta Hanson, but it would be nice to see where these Katie Scullin, where she's going to be, or post a tour list or something like that, because, I feel like we introduce people to this music and it helps the band too, if people know where they're going to play,
Absolutely. We should do that.
Yeah.
We could add it maybe to both of our social medias and just let people know how to find what they just heard.
I have to tell you, I have to share this with you before you go. This
no.
This is an Onion headline. It says,
good. Tell me.
Yeah, it says, singer ad-libs little laugh at end of track to signify fun time was had. Oh, that is
okay. Now you have me looking that article up when we were done.
Yeah, that's some good inside baseball for music. Hey, Terry, thank you so much. I will miss you next week, but we will get
too.
some. We're still working on the intro, but we'll have the bar band thing. All the production value will be killer. They'll want to turn it into a mini series when we're done. So stick with us. Yeah, thank you very much, my friend. Have a great week and have a great night.
You happy vacation time.
Thank you, Terry.
Bye, everybody.
See you later, Terry. That's Terry Barr for Bar Band Friday night here at Nite Lite every Friday at 8:35, bringing us music that, frankly, for me, is the only way I find new music right now. I've got Springsteen, I've got U2, I've got all my 80s bands, some of them Stuart and I talk to, and then I've got what Terry brings us. So I'd like to thank Stuart Waddles for being on the show. Terry Barr, as always, all your texts. Oh, we have a text here I didn't read. And our question tonight was a great 80s song that was sort of forgotten, or movie, or whatever Stuart and I were talking about was fine for people to chime in, and they did. And, Bridget is checking in from the 818. This is a tough one. The color purple is my choice. First time as an adult that brought me to tears, and I had no control. Opened my small world. Wow, some insight there into Bridget's soul. Thank you, Bridget. Here's another Onion headline I'll leave you guys with. Temu shopper disappointed by quality of $1 blender.
I don't know what they expected.
Oh, that's great. And one more quick one. Studio salvages terrible films box office numbers by marketing it as movie liberals don't want you to see. Oh, that's brilliant. Love the Onion. All right. Thank you all for a great week here at Nite Lite. Tune in next week. Some of our favorites will be on. I will be back on the 19th. On behalf of Conrad, thanks for listening to Nite Lite. Have a great weekend, and good night, Wisconsin.